You're
I
fully
know.
in
I'm
charge. This
sad
is
to
all
do
you.
it. I really don't want to do it because I don't want to do the first topic. Okay. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Crossover Podcast. I am 23 Charles 50, and that is Dave Jasnik. I think we nailed it.
Wait, you still don't know how to properly pronounce my last name after all this time?
No, no, no.
Wow,
I
Paul.
forget every time.
So it's shy knock, like you're very shy and
Shydock.
you're knocking on
Yeah.
somebody's door.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I had that down. Shydock. And we're here to talk about VCS. Actually has a start date, not a schedule, whatever. And LCS, doesn't matter. It's okay. Some
Nah,
teams
nah,
get
nah,
lucky.
nah, 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 nah,
Uh,
nah. Nah.
and LEC, an important major region. So we'll get started with we did promise to do a trash talking segment. So I guess we'll
Let's just admit
let Dave
right
start
here
it off.
and right now, 100 Thieves is the best team in the LCS without question. And just you can argue. Okay, well, first and foremost, they're better than TSM. And like
Uh
it's not even
yeah.
close. It is legitimately not even close. Cloud9 and 100 Thieves are in a category of their own at this point. And the matchup between the two of them is going to be so good because God knows TSM was not a good rival. They didn't put up a fight at
Mm,
all.
no.
It wasn't even close.
No. Yeah, the only idea I could have for like TSM of like good trash talk back, I guess, is like they're crying in their 210 mil. But other than that, like, I don't know, man. That was pretty bad. That
You
was
had to
hard to
pay
watch.
210 million for a loss. Congrats.
I mean,
Hope that
hey,
feels good. Wipe the tears from your dollar bills. Meanwhile, we'll be at Worlds. You have well, actually, at the way Team
we
Liquid's
make
looking, you
world. We could,
yeah,
yeah. I was gonna
the way
say,
Team
no
Liquid's
doubt.
looking, you might get there.
We'll do what TSM always does, baby, and that's hobble in. Let's go.
To go 0-6 in groups. Let's
Hey,
go.
nobody goes 06 like we do.
That is
Nobody
true.
does it like we do.
Nobody
Yeah.
goes 0-6 and drives the viewership numbers that you guys do.
Yeah.
It's
Nobody loses as hard as TSM does, and people still watch, baby. That's beautiful. Oh man. Dude, like how? How is I don't know, man. They paid so much for Sword Art, and he's actually so bad. Like, so bad.
I don't think it's that he's bad. I legitimately do think it's that he can't adapt to the play style in North America. Like the LPL just
Yeah.
has him trained to play a different way, and he just cannot turn his brain off enough to handle the LCS. And unless you're
Yeah.
playing on Cloud9 or 100 Thieves right now, who have like a very clear understanding of the meta and how to play the game,
hmm
everybody else is just playing horrible.
I
Not
think
horrible, but
what gives me hope though is that luckily the two losses this week for TSM were on PoE was on Lucian.
yeah,
So that is like I'm not saying that like saves the whole thing, but we know like deep down PoE not on Lucian. Basically, if you put him on any AP champ for some reason, his brain turns on and he plays like he's one of the best mids in the league. So that's my only hope. I mean, like Spica genuinely looks like he's being held hostage to play games. So I don't know. I mean,
did,
every game that ends, he literally stands up and goes like this
yeah.
and doesn't celebrate. I
So
mean, they
like he
beat a
wants to bring
team.
Bjergsen back to be
Yeah.
jungler per their
Yeah.
video.
Yes. Like it actually might not be a joke. He might legitimately want him back. But I don't want to get made fun of anymore. So let's hop into the number one topic, baby. And that's gonna be we finally got a VCS start date. And it's
Finally.
gonna be June 24th. They gave us so in 10 days, I guess at some point they're gonna release a schedule. That'd be nice to know when GAM plays. But other than that, all we have is June 24th.
All you have to know is that it's
Mm.
going to be at either 6 or 9 a.m. on Eastern time. So, wait, are you on Eastern or
Yep.
Central?
Eastern, yeah.
Yeah, okay, yeah. So, 6 or 9 a.m. So,
Yep.
I don't know if the Army has you waking up early, but you might be able to catch it.
I mean, I get up at I have an hour-long commute right now, so I do get up at 6, but I ain't gonna lie, I am watching League till I get in work at 8. And
Yeah.
when I sit down, I work very hard for you, Uncle Sam. I don't watch LCK. And it's a good time. Another thing that is kind of worrying, and we have mentioned this before this started, Gen G is already looking to poach. It's over, boys. It was a good run. We made it very far, and it's done.
It was
That
great
was
being
it.
fans of the VCS for 3 whole episodes, but now we're LCK fans because we're getting bought out. That's,
Yup.
we're jumping ship early.
It already ended. It was looks like we're on the LMS trade track of we're a league until we get destroyed because LCK just buys everybody and so does China.
Yeah.
So I mean, because we both know at the end of the day, if Gen G is gonna start buying Vietnamese players, China's gonna buy more. So
Yeah.
it's pretty doomed if they start doing that. Hopefully, I did see the player base in Vietnam is huge.
Yeah.
Like it's growing really fast. So I'm hoping that can outpace it because I'd really rather us not have started a podcast all about Vietnamese league and it just disappeared a day.
So it really depends on a few different things. First is obviously, like you said, the player base is very high in Vietnam, which is phenomenal because that means you have a growing player base that I'm assuming watches competitive because it seems like the VCS is fairly well viewed for the most part. When you start introducing new money into things and not just like,
Mhm.
you know, not just increasing your salaries within Vietnam, but like you're also going to like the most competitive leagues in the world with the LCK and LPL. That's going to hurt. But the question is, are the Vietnamese like Europeans, where there's a lot of national pride to the point where even if you throw like Reckless, we know had offers from the LPL for an absurd amount of money. He didn't take it to stay in EU. He very easily could have went to the LPL, but there's a lot of pride that comes with being in Europe and putting a lot of time and development into that system. Uh, does that exist in
Yeah.
Vietnam yet? I I don't know. We'll see. I mean, Levi already left GAM once to go to 100 Thieves, but then again, he's
Yeah.
also like a top 1% of player. And then SOFM went to the LPL as well. So it's like there's precedent there, but also it's not a lot of players going out of the league yet. I don't know whether that's because of skill or pride. But if it is pride, even if Gen G is recruiting, yeah, that probably hurts your talent pool a little bit. And I'm assuming this is more cultural because I don't want to misspeak and I don't want to offend any Vietnamese viewers that we have, all 11 people that watch the VODs, etc. for now. Uh, I don't know the cultural differences between Vietnam, Korea, and China. So I don't know if it's a very easy crossover or if it's like some Americans can't handle European culture. Is it that big of a culture shock to them? Like I don't know. Even if the language is similar, uh, I don't know. Like there's a lot of factors that go into this that I'm sure we'll learn over time. But nevertheless,
Mhm.
Gen G having a proven track record, which by the way, Gen G's an American company, so
Yep.
it's not surprising that they would look to outsource. But I I don't want to see I don't want to see Vietnam cannibalized. But I will say, if you are a VCS fan or a Vietnam fan in general, you need to see Worlds results when they finally get back to the international stage. Because if these players don't start seeing progress in that regard, then they will leave, and you'll go to the regions that do have success.
Yeah, and it's very hard to think that Gen G is even going to poach these players before we see that Worlds like play because it's been what almost 2 years now that Vietnam hasn't even played in an international event, and the idea of Gen G going in there and just taking players without knowing how they'll actually match up against all these international teams is kind of surprising to me. I mean, I know SOFM looked really good. He got to World's Finals on Suning. Levi, I mean, he just kind of had a weird situation.
Yeah.
But outside of them two, I've never heard of any other like great Vietnamese players, and I've never really seen any that were as iconic. So hopefully Vietnam makes a run at Worlds, but I'm almost worried if they make a run, does that just doom them? Like, do all their players get bought out? Because I mean, China might come in too if they see Korea doing it.
I
So
I don't know. Like it can go one of two ways, and it just comes down. I think it ultimately does come down to that national pride and infrastructure. Like,
Hmm.
do you have enough faith in the system to let it keep going, and do you have enough pride in your country to want to represent them over taking the money
True.
grab and going to other countries?
Hmm.
That's you know how we see it. How we see that as Americans is drastically different than how other countries might see it. So
Yeah.
it's too hard to generalize outside of just the basic, you know, best of luck, hope for the
Yeah.
best.
And I mean, speaking of all these Vietnam players and Levi, we can hop right into your favorite topic and
Let's
the
go.
best thing that happened in 100 Thieves 3-0'd.
Let's
They're
go, dude. I am.
finally the best, probably the best looking, if we're being
Oh,
honest.
uh, here's my thing. I wanted to say like after Sunday's game, like as long as they cleared out the 3-0, well, okay,
Hmm.
going into Sunday, I was like, okay, if they win this game, it's easy. You know, we're the best team in the league right now. That sets up a great rivalry against C9, but you know, we're still playing well enough to do it. But the way Cloud9 played this weekend as well, clearly shaking off the MSI rust, is like I'm getting this pit in my stomach again, where it's like, okay, assuming we go 3-0 next weekend or close to it, because we do play TL on Sunday and TL is no rollover. Uh, that match
Yeah.
against Cloud9 is going to mean so much. It's like for for the old school Optic fans, there was a time where Optic Halo was making a comeback, and it was led by like Lethal and a few other players. I forget who all was on the squad, but basically, they were playing so well in scrims, and Halo scrims are played publicly on Twitch. Uh, and there was talks consistently of, okay, can this squad beat what was Lethal, and I think they were on CLG at the time. Can they beat CLG in a scrim or even look competitive against them? Because like they were
Mhm.
killing everybody else, like they were doing really well. They go up to play CLG and everybody's hyped, and they get smashed, like horribly smashed in that scrim, and they just slowly fall back down. Now, do I think that's going to happen with 100 Thieves? Absolutely not. I have faith
Mhm.
in it's different watching them succeed than watching any other team that we've seen in the LCS in the past few years because Reaper said his goal at the beginning of the split was he wants every single player to be first all pro. I think you can make a legitimate case if we were to pause the split right now that every single player on 100 Thieves could be argued for the best player in their role right now. Abadage,
Yeah.
hands down, is the best mid laner in the league. Closer probably has some competition, but realistically, he'll be tied if not up there in votes. Someday, easily one of the best top laners in the league right now. You could probably put Fudge up there with him, but I mean, someday just put Impact in a body bag. So that was the second closest competition. That's now done. FBI, hands down the best bot laner in the league right now. Huhi, Core JJ hasn't looked as great in prior splits to the point where I'd be willing to say Vulcan, Core JJ, and Huhi are all in that argument. But the fact that you can even realistically debate that speaks to not only their good read on the meta, but just how insane they're developing as individuals and the difference that
Yeah.
Reaper as a coach is making. That gives me faith going into the upcoming change on 11.16, which I don't know if you saw what the developers were saying, but they are going to be drastically changing mid lane.
Yeah.
They're looking to get Lucian out of there, put him back to bot lane, bring back mages, which is going to favor TSM. It's going to be a drastic meta shift.
Yep.
So TSM, in my opinion, is going to come back stronger. Team Liquid, I think Team Liquid's going to be more or less the same. I don't think Jensen really changes that much no matter what champion he's playing. Uh, and Tactical has been playing meh, but overall, that to me is going to be the turning point. If 100 Thieves can continue to look good in the new meta and against Cloud9,
Hmm.
it's to the moon at this point. Like every North American fan should be hyping up 100 Thieves and Cloud9 going into Worlds because, quite frankly, I'm more impressed with those two teams than any team in the LEC as well, which is really saying something.
Yeah, I mean, Cloud. My only issue with Cloud9 is that their bottom lane, just I don't know what's going on there, and Blabber is still their jungler, so I have no idea what he'll do on an international stage when he gets there again. And I think that's a real, like, actual worrisome thing at this point. Blabber is pretty bad when not everything goes according to plan. That's kind of what I like about 100 Thieves a lot, but they seem to fall into the same trap at times. I mean, week one they were. This week they looked way better, and the games were so hard stompy. Honestly, there's not a lot you can judge from it.
Yeah.
It's gonna be interesting to see this week if they can keep up the momentum, because I mean, a 3-0 week leads to a lot of pressure, and it can be just as harmful as it is helpful at
Yeah.
times, but they seem to be really good. And Abadage, I agree, has to be the best mid in an A right now, just off of raw performance. I mean,
Without
mechanically, it
question.
looks really nice. And your bottom lane is your bottom lane. They're really, really good. And I think Abadage helps cover up the issues that FBI had of inting in fights,
Yeah.
because Abadage goes deep already. So that helps a ton. And someday is really good. So I don't really see who beats 100 Thieves in the current moment if they're on form, assuming they stay on form, which I think they will. I mean, they're just really nice mechanically.
The other thing that I've really enjoyed about watching their games that I was worried after week one, and I think
Mhm.
we touched on this briefly, was the karma pick. And does that pigeonhole us into a specific style? And then
Mhm.
we see Abadage come out with the Akali. And we
Yep.
see them go for more of a control mage, let FBI get damage out as well with the Oriana comp. It's like
Yeah.
watching them not only play well, but play well on multiple comps. It's giving me like 2019 G2 vibes where even if we lose next week, I'm fine if we lose as long as we're experimenting with drafts and comps and
Yeah.
continuing to learn and progress. Like, I don't care if we lose so long as we're doing something unique and losing. If we pick the karma and we play a comp that we already know and we lose, yeah, that's a worrying sign. If we pick like Vayne mid lane and lose in a game where we like nearly come back, yeah,
Mhm.
I'm not worried about that. But to your point though, the one thing that I would say is not really a red flag, but we have not seen 100 Thieves play from behind yet. We've seen them play from an even game state now. They were even against EG, arguably maybe like a little bit behind, but then they just smashed every lane so hard by the time
Yo.
mid game came around that it didn't make a difference.
Nope.
That it's like I want to see them play a game from behind where maybe one lane is you only have one lane winning. And are you
Mhm.
able to turn around some fights? Are you able to make those macro decisions that you need to make to bring yourself back into the game? The creative thinking, the on the spot decision making that Blabber struggles with. Can we succeed in that? Because we are not going to be able to
Yep.
crush these lanes in the same way internationally as we are right now at all.
Yeah.
It's just not going to happen.
And I'm going to assume that when Alfari comes back, TL isn't as easy to just raffle stomp. And I would say I don't think TSM just gets run over in lanes every single time they play 100 Thieves. If they do all 3 games, then that's just life. And 100 Thieves might be the next supremacy. It just might be over. But,
I
and I don't see C9 getting stomped either. Yeah.
I'm not sure about the supremacy thing yet. Like, so I don't know if you watched Hotline League a few weeks ago, but there was a moment where I think it was somebody from it was a Nero from Golden Guardians because he coached
Okay.
all of this roster barring Someday and now Abadage, and
Hmm.
he said there were clear weaknesses which clearly still have not been addressed, and these players are great but they have flaws. I'm wondering if Reaper did help fix those
Hmm.
because honest question, have you ever seen players change this much with just a coaching change and a mid lane replacement. Have you ever seen a team make a turnaround this drastically? Not even just to the point where they're playing well, but
Hmm.
every player's skill level is slowly increasing over time.
I would say it is very expected because they have been playing with a training weight for the past year and a half, to be honest, in mid
True.
lane. Like, I actually do think I expect it to happen. Now, it doesn't mean it's not impressive. It's very impressive that they actually, like, they were lifted of their issues and they actually did it. Like, they pulled off the massive increase, which is kind of crazy to look at. I mean, I can't think of another team that, like, just got astronomically better from one player. Maybe, like, because honestly, I don't think last year's TSM got astronomically better just because they got double lift. I think the league just, like, started playing bad.
Yeah, I'd
Like,
agree with you there. Double lift
and I
wasn't
don't
like that big of an upgrade over Kabe.
yeah, and I don't and I actually don't think the league is playing worse. I think 100 Thieves is actually playing better. Like, I think this was actually a massive upgrade, and I think C9 is playing a little worse, and when they get Sven back, they'll be better. Because King hasn't impressed me at all. Uh,
King is the guy.
he's the
I
guy.
I'm not kidding when I say King is the guy.
They're sticking with him.
Yeah, now the Alfari move I don't know about, but I've seen it multiple places now that King is it. Like they are going with King long term. They're expecting his development to be similar to Fudge's last year, where yes, I'd argue King has had a much better start than Fudge ever did in the LCS, like by far. Like King has actually looked serviceable in the highlights that I saw from this weekend.
Yeah, I
Fudge
just
was
mean that's like that's true, I guess.
I,
You're right.
I'm trying to think of it like by the time the end of
Mm,
the season comes, is it gonna be as bad? I think Jenkins has looked great, but Jenkins would arguably be a still a worse player than Alfari, no matter
mhm,
what. Whereas I don't think the disparity is as high. Like by the time finals
true.
comes around, King could very much be up there contesting with FBI if he continues to grow at the pace that he's growing.
Oh, you said FBI? Wow.
I
See, I talked with Mason last night, and if people don't know, he's just one of our friends. And him and I were talking about it, and we were like saying how when you watch LPL, right, ADCs kind of make the team, like they're all built around an ADC. But when you watch LCS, how many fights do you notice the ADC dies early and a team still turns the fight and wins it?
a
Like,
lot, but I also think that has to do with
yeah,
draft differences as well. Like
that
yeah,
could be true. Yeah, actually, yeah.
like it's not. I agree with you because I think you look back to the two best Chinese, well actually three best Chinese teams of the last 3 years. The ADCs are by far the standout players. You have
Mm-hmm.
Huang Fang, or was it Huang Fang
Yep,
from
Huang Feng.
Suning, Huang Fang from Suning, Gala from RNG obviously, and then
Yeah.
Jackie Love from JDG.
Mm-hmm.
Or no, he went to top. Yeah, he went to
Uh,
top esports, didn't he?
I couldn't remember, but I do know wasn't it Fun Plus Phoenix who probably had the worst ADC of all those three teams? And but there, I mean, DoMB was playing out of his mind, so it didn't matter.
Yeah.
For being
Yeah. So
honest.
Jackie Love is at top esports.
Okay, but I would say like my big thing is in LCS. I think the only ADC I can think of who fights in a way that I'm like, oh, he could actually carry the fight is it's FBI. But it's weird because FBI right now, he is playing astronomically better. He's not inting in fights, which has like been his only thing. That's been his problem. Like I don't know what they did. I guess Reaper was just like sat him in a room and like taped his eyes open and made him watch himself flash forward 1,000 times.
Yeah.
And that's why he stopped. But he's the only ADC that I legitimately sit there and go, I think he could carry the game.
Yeah.
Like when I watch Lost and King and Tactical.
Oh god.
Actually, Tactical's pretty good
He's
sometimes.
good, but I
He's
can't
hit or
like
miss.
you had
He's really hit or miss.
when you look back to the Team Liquid Evil Geniuses game. He is the
Yeah,
sole reason why they lost. He
yeah,
was pushing mid lane with the Aatrox and I forget who the other ADC was. But he used
yep.
flash, he ult, like he tried everything to get out, but it's like his positioning is just
Bad. Yeah.
it, it's not horrible all the time, but there's just these pockets where it just like I like watching back. I'm just sitting there. I was like, dude, why are you so far out? Why are you
Yeah.
so far out? How like I don't know if that's just nobody on his team coming to join him, and
Hmm.
maybe that's miscommunication there, or if that's truly him picking that spot. It's like, oh god, dude, like that. Oh, that's not good.
I mean, there was literally a fight in the last TSM game. Ah, I can't remember who they played the on
Oh,
Sunday.
CLG.
Yeah, CLG. They're playing them, and Lost literally dies at the start of the fight, gets picked off, and then Spica gets a double POE, picks up a kill, and they win the fight like 3-1. And I was like, dude, like, what is this region with ADCs? Like, why are they so just like, why can they just die at the start of the fight and it not matter? It just feels odd to me,
To be
like that
fair,
they can just die.
the last time that a notable ADC died, and it really did matter, was one of the best call out moments in League of Legends history of no quick silver sash with
Yeah.
Sven getting caught out on the Ezreal and just inting the game 5 away
Yeah.
from TSM.
Yeah, we don't. Yeah, we don't. Every great ADC getting one shot by Victor, yeah. TSM loves to have an ADC just get one shot or
Well, no, that
killed.
wasn't the Victor. That was it was a who was it?
No, I said the Crown's Victor on double
Oh, yeah, yeah,
at
yeah.
Worlds, and then you have Smithy pulling Sven in.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Back when
80
Sven, every time Sven had Ezreal, he played him like he was a front line. And I would be like, okay, we lost. Good game.
it,
Draft diff.
well, okay. See, here's the thing on that though. And this is an interesting discussion that I saw on Twitter. I think it was with Cadril and somebody else, but basically they were talking about uh Abidage's Oriana game, and they were saying that Oriana needs to act as a frontliner because she has so many poke tools as well as tools to disengage as well that she should be up in the front line poking. And he notably wasn't doing that during some of the fights with 100 Thieves, but some other people were quick to comment out, and everybody kind of agreed to disagree. But like Someday was shadowing along the side and giving pressure from that
Mm.
angle. That if Abadage didn't have to push up as far as they were hoping he would, so it's turning that to ADCs as well. It's like
True.
you can frontline with an ADC if you know how to get out. Gala notably will frontline with a Kai'Sa and just use his
Mhm.
GA and use the tools to get out. But I got to agree with you. North American ADCs just don't seem to like. I don't
Mm.
know if it's just they don't know how to limit test properly or what, but it just seems like they're always getting caught out.
Yeah, I think it was Yamakaze's Twit Longer that he talked about how in Korean solo queue, one player will limit test and everyone on the team will follow him. And that is not an NA thing, to be honest. That is not what we do here. If one guy limit tests, we usually all type, dude, you're trolling, you're inting, what are you doing? And everyone's upset. But in Korea, they're like, oh, we're just fighting, let's go. And they all just run
Fighting.
in there. Yeah, they're like, we got this, we're faster hands. And I just don't see that in NA. I mean, that's honestly my big part of why I think 100 Thieves could win, is because I actually think FBI is just the best ADC, and who he is a really good support. Maybe people won't say he's the best in NA, but he's definitely better than serviceable,
Yeah.
and he's good enough to be an all pro on one of the three teams. So
I'm
he's, to
I'm
me, he's good enough.
praying to God, 100 Thieves crushes the regular season to the point where the games don't matter and we've locked in like first seed or second seed.
Yep.
Final game of the regular season. Kaisa lock in bottom lane or whoever FBI wants to play. Last pick Aurelion Soul for Huhi. Bring out the A Soul support. That'd be so cool.
It would
Especially
be
after
very cool.
watching the CLG double TP on the Piglet from the
Yep.
replay files this weekend. It just makes me want Huhi to bring out some of these picks even more, even though he doesn't have to, obviously. But like
Yep.
as we start experimenting a little bit more, like especially when the new meta comes, just bust out some random Huhi shit. I want him to be what G2's entire team was in 2019. Just get
Yeah.
freaky with the drafts. Because Abidage can play anything. Someday just throw him on weak side. He'll be fine.
Yeah.
Closer, just let him support like closer Abidage, just pair them with
Put him
whatever
on a
they want.
carry.
Yeah,
Just put him on a carry.
they're fine. But just let Huhi get freaky with the supports. That'd be
Yeah.
a blast.
It would be very fun. That would be really cool. It'd be hilarious too if they just started messing around with drafts and then pulled a Reaper Classic in
No, no.
playoffs.
Oh no. I hope Papa is involved enough to like see that coming and be like, okay, gonna pump the brakes on this one. Just hold up. Let's
Y'all getting paid?
bring it in.
Y'all think this is funny? No, that's all he says when they start losing.
Oh god, no. Ugh.
But well, we've already touched on some of them, to be honest, but I still want to go back and kind of dive deeper into them. What do you think about the roster changes? Like,
So
how are you feeling about TL Jenkins?
honestly, Jenkins is the best performing player on Team Liquid right now.
Yeah.
Like that, it's weird to say that, and I don't know if Alfari still would be if he was in this position, but like we're reaching a point. If Jenkins is already playing this well, and imagine if everybody else on the team finally steps up their play and finally comes back into form, and you're on a roll, do you put Alfari back in? Like, I don't.
Yes.
Even if they go to playoff, if say TL goes on a run in the second
Hmm.
half of this split, gets themselves all the way up to second seed with this roster, starts smashing 100 Thieves, starts smashing Cloud9,
Mm.
you still put Alfari in, even if Jenkins is still looking like arguably the best player on the team.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you want it in that world, but I don't see that world happening, if I'm
Agreed.
being honest. Yeah, I just don't. I just think Alfari's too good. Like, if TL doesn't want to use him, please, dear God, trade him on over. We're waiting. We'll take him.
I
TSM will pay him.
I don't
Don't
know.
worry.
The last time TSM picked up a player with quote unquote attitude issues, they sent him to dig after a single split. So
True.
so
True.
I don't
And they
know
can't take him anyways because of import rule.
exactly.
But I mean, yeah, I think you still put him in. I think he's too good. He literally led top lane in all statistical categories last split. Like, I don't
I
know what you
I
do.
think you do what Fnatic did in 2018. You use both of them. Like
True.
you allow both of them to play depending on like what the
Mm,
comp is feeling
yeah.
like, what the players are feeling like. Like I don't know the relations that go into like a full 6-man or even 7-man roster, but
Yeah.
at some point without question, next split Jenkins is starting on an LCS roster. I've already seen enough in 5
Yeah.
games to know that he's LCS ready fully. Give him a decent team. Like TSM would be dumb not to pick him up next split
Agreed.
over Hooney.
Hmm.
So it's like,
They're dumb not trying to get him now.
yeah. So the question becomes then, if you have faith in Jenkins, if you legitimately think he can be one of the better top laners in the league, do you keep developing him? Because maybe a year and a half from now, if he's playing against that caliber of opponent, maybe he'll be where Alfari is, because he's already been scrimming against them. He knows Alfari's methods. He's starting to learn them
Mhm.
slowly but surely. You know, you could potentially get him there. And I personally, this is just me and my philosophy, but I'm a big believer of investing in more talent long term. I
Mhm.
don't think Alfari is a great investment long term, given that he already hates North America.
Mhm.
Like they've made that clear in several different outlets now that I don't know if he's gonna stay here after the split.
I doubt he does. I don't see a world where he could.
So then why play him? If he's not gonna be here next split and Jenkins is your guy going forward, unless you're planning on
Yeah.
importing another top laner, which Who are you
Hmm.
gonna pick up that's better than the Alfari pickup? There's nobody. There's literally nobody out there that was a better top lane signing.
Yeah. I mean, it's really hard. I don't even know what you do, like, in their situation because Jenkins does look nice, and it'd be nice to, like, promote especially with import rules, it's nice to keep a good NA player on your roster, like, that doesn't eat a slot, but they, like I don't know, man, they put so much money into Alfari, it just feels wild not using him, and he's really good still. I know he hates them, but he's still a really good player. Like, that's pretty tough to just not use him. I mean, if anything, it's kind of insane to me that their top laners are performing this well, and Jensen and Santorin are like just existing and tactical is trolling, to be honest. Like, I don't get it. I don't
I
really get it.
I don't know. Like, so we briefly discussed this last time, but now obviously more information has come out, and I think I can solidly say Jat messed up when it came to not starting Jenkins that very first game. They should have benched
Oh yeah,
Alfari from the start.
yeah.
That is 100% on Jat, and he bears
Hmm.
that responsibility through and through.
And
Uh,
I think he said it somewhere. It was a chat. I think it was a Travis Gafford interview that he said they should have dealt with it before the season started.
yeah, and it's
But
like, how much though of these additional
yeah.
problems do you think falls on coaching?
Oh, I mean, for sure, it's a lot. Well, it's a bit of coaching. I mean, if a player hates where he's playing and you can't get him, then, or you can't get him motivated to play, you got to be able to know when to kind of give him a break or at least give him a not reality check because I don't want to say it's a punishment. It's more of like give him time to figure it out. Set him down, like tell him, "Hey man, we're going to start with this guy, not to get rid of you, but because we need you to like figure out what's going on. Like you need to find your own motivation, you need to dig deep, you need to take that time." And they gave it to him and they said he's coming back like sometime late June. And at this point, how awkward is that? To
Really?
say we're letting him come back late June. If you're a teammate of his, like, yeah, you're gonna accept him back because you want to win, and he's a very good player. But deep down, you're all wondering when's he quit next,
Yeah.
and that's not to like put down his mental health problems or whatever he has going on. That's just what you wonder. I mean, that was Bjergsen's greatest issue with the greatest ADC in NA ever, Doublelift. He literally said he didn't want to play with him anymore because he kept quitting on him. And Alfari does not have the pedigree and the trophies that Doublelift had.
Yeah.
So if you can't get away with it with 3 titles, I doubt you're getting away with it with none.
I think
So
people really fail to underestimate team dynamic in a lot of
yeah,
these moments. It's like I've seen so many people talk about Alfari's skill level, but it
yep,
does not matter how talented you are if you have the personality of Randy Moss standing up and saying that, the Vikings food is shit and he wouldn't even feed it to his dogs. You
yep.
can't, like, there's only so much you can repair. Like, you have to maintain good relations. And
Hmm.
at the end of the day, it is a team game. There's not one player that you can overcome. Like, there's a threshold for toxicity that, like, people can hate each other and still play well. But
Hmm.
at a certain point, that just cracks. And once that trust is gone, it's gone. You cannot repair that. It takes years to forgive and forget and
Yep.
maybe make a recovery. Like, that's Double Lift probably could have. There's no way that Double Lift would have went back to TSM any earlier than he did there. It took
Hmm.
Double Lift literally getting himself humbled and finishing ninth place in that split for him to
Yeah.
finally get over his differences with Bjergsen and actually move back to TSM.
Hmm.
I don't. I'm sorry. I know he's talented. I don't see a world where Alfari comes back. And same
Yeah.
thing
Yeah.
with King at this point. Like that's a little bit different, and we don't fully know. But Jack has, I think Jack's learned his lesson from 2018, and is not saying anything about Sven.
Yep.
But I I don't see either one of them getting sub back out. I think these are permanent moves. I really do.
If you're TSM, and you're looking at everything going on right now, and Sven is getting his green card, and he's gonna be an NA citizen. Do you try to get Sven in the offseason in Jenkins? And
No,
like,
no.
because I assume you don't go for Sven, but you go for Jenkins in your mind.
Jenkins, absolutely. I think you throw everything under the sun at Jenkins, but Jenkins is so committed to Team Liquid at this point. Like he went to Worlds with them last year. He's got a very good relationship with the coaching staff and everything there.
Hmm.
I would be shocked.
They ain't letting him go.
No,
Yeah,
like it's not even
they're
them
not.
just letting him go. Like I just don't see Jenkins choosing anybody else at this point.
Yeah,
Like he's TSM's your only other option that you look at and is like, yeah, that's viable. But even then, I think you'd rather play for Team Liquid than TSM.
yeah, less pressure. I mean, if you're losing, you're not bound to get fired as quickly.
Yeah,
It's just how it is.
I
Yeah,
I don't know. I mean, the other they're the only ones I
I,
think are
I
safe. Like
can't
you
think.
look at the
Yeah.
other roster changes. I think Soligo is going to be back in mid lane. I've not been impressed with that
Yeah,
roster change. I was
yeah.
not. Danny has been one of the best ADCs in the league
Mm-hmm.
from a rookie perspective, without question. He's solidly there, but he was never in danger of getting subbed out. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
Immortal's putting in pretty yikes. Like
Weird.
when you put Jenkins and when you put King in the context of all the other subs, they look phenomenal, both in game and out of game from a macro point. Like their
Yeah.
value has skyrocketed.
I mean, King maybe. I don't. I'm gonna be honest. I don't see any LCS team that's trying to win going and spending a bunch of money for King, but maybe they
No,
do.
no, I
I don't think he's that
realistically
good. He's
no,
okay.
but he,
Yeah.
I think he fills a hole for now. Uh,
Yeah.
I I don't know
I
if
mean,
they're
he
just
just solves whatever issue was going on mentally for them.
yeah.
That's basically all he does.
Like Danny is, in my opinion, the best pickup that
Oh
any
yeah.
LCS team has made in the last year and a half.
He looks really nice.
He looks phenomenal, and he just graduated.
Yeah.
Think about it. They looked way better this past week, despite getting smashed by 100 Thieves.
Yep.
And he just graduated high school this week. He was doing homework and doing
Yeah.
all that other shit while balancing an LCS career at the same time.
Yep.
That's nuts.
Yeah, he's
This kid is
crazy.
legitimately good. Get him a like an actually decent team with a mid laner that's not going to int every fight. Yeah, like this kid could be going places. He could
I'm worried
legitimately be
about
good.
him though because you still have. I mean, this is the same exact moment when Johnson came out
True.
and when Tactical came out. They both popped off. They both looked crazy. Everyone said the future is here, baby. And
True.
then like halfway through the split, everybody went, "Oh, uh, oh." And it was like they're bad now, allegedly. But I still think Johnson is good. He's just on a bad team. I think Danny will be fine. He's so young, and you're right. He is so young that why would you not have him? Like,
Yeah.
just let him play. Like, let him figure it out. EG's not going anywhere. We all know that. Jizuke is something else. I
Yeah.
mean, he's
He's
in
something.
a different world. And uh just let the man learn. Let him grow. It sucks that he's having to learn and grow on that team. Who's the support? Ignar? Ignar's really good to learn
Ignar is a
from.
phenomenal support to learn from.
Yeah. I think he's great to learn from. And it just really sucks that Jizuke is on that team.
I
It's tough.
it's different with Danny in my opinion because when you look at how tactical and who's the other player you mentioned? Johnson.
Oh yeah,
Both
Johnson.
both of them were playing well in
Yeah.
academy. Danny never played academy. Danny came straight from the amateur scene and Evil Genius's Prodigies team, like their
Yep.
youth development team, straight up. But if you watched any of the games in Proving Grounds, he was head and shoulders above every other ADC in that
Wow.
tournament. Like it wasn't. It legitimately was not close. It felt different with
Mm-hmm.
him than it did for Johnson and Tactical. Like Johnson and Tactical, you watched it and it was like,
Sure.
okay, these guys are good. They'll eventually get their shot. You
Yeah.
watch Danny and you watch EG Prodigies and it was like, this guy needs to be like, he deserves a shot now. Like that,
Mm-hmm.
I had not seen that kind of response from anybody. Like even Tim from Oracle Elixir and uh, who's the lady who used to run 100 Thieves is now with Evil Geniuses as well.
Oh, Kelsey
Casey or
Moser.
yeah, Kelsey Moser. You
Yep.
saw her and you saw a lot of the other people involved with the academy scene basically saying like, yeah, this kid's the real deal. And you didn't see them say that about Tactical and John. Like they were supportive of those players, but
Yeah.
it was not the same enthusiasm as you saw for Danny coming into this, which makes me think that it's different. Like, am I placing trust in people that I don't know in their opinions? Yeah, but these are people who have been around the league scene for such a long period of time that it's like, yeah, I'm gonna have a little bit more faith in their opinions and views on that.
Mm-hmm. It's it also just sucks that like this kid is so good, but League is in such a meta where it's like very team dependent. So this weekend, I want to be like, oh man, the first game is EG and Cloud9, and I want to sit there and go, oh, dude, we're gonna get to see Danny go up against King and really see like, is Cloud9's move the right move? Is Danny about to just body some guy and really hurt them? But then I remember like their top side of the map, and I'm like, oh man, Danny's gonna probably get absolutely destroyed. And even if he wins lane, that's tough.
Yeah,
And it's like that's just so sad. Like, because I mean, even if Svenskeren can keep up with Blabber, which I still think Svenskeren's good, uh Perks is gonna probably annihilate Jizuke, sadly. Uh it's gonna be tough. And I saw your face there, yeah. Svenskeren's just okay.
it's
I'm
weird
gonna be
because
honest, yeah.
I
I don't
was
know what to think
watching
about him.
the TLEG game. It
Yeah.
legitimately took me a minute to remember who their jungler was.
Yeah.
It's weird to see that we're in a world where I can actually forget who Svenskeren is as a player.
Yeah. He's just been around. Like, I don't know, man. It kind of blows my mind. He's still playing.
Yeah, I
I
don't
mean,
know.
he's not bad. I
No,
just
he's
think
not
when I look
horrible.
at Academy like jungles, there's a lot of interesting ones in there,
My boy
and I'm
Kenvi.
surprised they haven't got Kenvi for sure, and I'm surprised they haven't gotten a chance. You know,
Yeah,
like just a chance to see what they do. I don't know. I mean, because here, honestly, what do you lose putting an Academy roster in if you're EG? Like for one weekend, you may lose 3 games,
yeah.
maybe, and I don't think that's an issue for them to lose 3 games. Like they're probably gonna make playoffs anyways, or not. I mean they're not
They
good.
will.
If they do make playoffs,
It's eight
what?
teams getting to playoffs.
Oh, then they make playoffs and they lose anyways.
Yeah.
We all know that.
The only
So
teams that are in danger of missing the playoffs are legitimately Golden Guardians, CLG, and FlyQuest. That's it.
yeah,
Beyond
and
that,
they're
it's
all
like every other team is
trash.
fine.
Yeah, Golden Guardians is not looking hot. Although Blaze Olive isn't terrible, but yeah, they're
No,
not
he.
looking hot.
That's the thing is like a Blaze Olive is decent, but it's like, did you see the clip of Nate Shot today by chance?
No.
He got mad because an interview he did with Hex for Ven, like the new like TV network Ven thing,
Yeah.
got out there, and he went on a good 2 minute rant at the end on people like developing these insane expectations on 100 Thieves to be at the same level as TSM, despite the fact that 100 Thieves is only an organization that's 3.5 years old, whereas
Hmm.
TSM's been around for 11 or 12 years and had consistent roots in League of Legends. And he
Hmm.
went off about how it's like, look, it's a pay to win game to a certain extent, and you need to have connections in addition to that. He's like, we are trying. Like we're
Yeah.
putting in our effort, and you can't look at what we're doing and say that we're not. Yet people are still criticizing us left and right. And it made me
Yeah.
think, it's like, if people are criticizing them, which I get part of that is because people actually care about them because they're a popular and important org. What the hell does that mean for Golden Guardians? Because they can't even they're spending minimal amounts on every player.
Nobody's
They
watching them.
get no, nobody cares, and they came
Yeah.
into existence at the exact same time, and not a
Yeah.
single person cares.
Yeah.
Like
I
I
mean,
don't know what to do.
it's kind of what you get though when you're popular. Like TSM literally got third last split, and people acted like they were trolling and they were a bunch of morons, and they're gonna die in a fire. So the more popular you get, the more hate you get. And 100 Thieves is very popular because they do a good job branding. I mean, there's a reason TSM and them are
Our butting heads.
constantly,
Yeah.
butting heads, is because both of them are throwing a lot of money into everything, and it's working. I mean, they're
That's the key, is
turning
it's
heads.
working.
Yeah, they're
No,
getting video views on their YouTube channels, and their streamers are popping off. Like you can't hate that.
they are both so much bigger than esports at this point. That
Oh
it's
yeah,
like you see FaZe now on the cover of Sports Illustrated this month, and it's
yeah.
like TSM and 100 Thieves, while not at that status of like
Mm-hmm.
cultural norm, they're up there. They're in
Mm-hmm.
that conversation. And the fact that 100 Thieves did that in 4 years and TSM is right there as well, it's like,
It's impressive.
it's impressive. And then you just look
Yeah,
over to Golden Guardians and CLG, and you just instantly just look
cringe.
at
Yeah, it's
it
cringe.
and be like, what do you do? And I don't want to flame too many people in that regard, because I know like Spellsy follows me on Twitter, I think, and he's like the GM of operations over at Golden Guardians. I'm not
Uh-huh.
saying there's bad people in the organization there. Like Golden Guardians has decent people behind it. I think
Mm-hmm.
personally, I think uh they're lacking obviously money from the top, which we all knew
Mm-hmm.
that because of the whole NBA situation with China. That it's very similar to the Schalke football situation. But they're doing well in the Smash scene, but they just can't get their footing in League of Legends. And even then, they're picking like small niche audiences and like small niche subsections of gaming that is just never going to be mainstream. So I don't know, like, do you just keep doing that until it pays off 10 years from now? But by then, somebody's going to be able to just capitalize on the next trend. Like, what happens when the next Fortnite comes out? Like, the next cultural, like, shocking game. And
Yeah.
the big streamers who are all playing it are just TSM, 100 Thieves, FaZe Clan, and Luminosity or whatever because, like, Miskiff, XQC, like, all of them belong to Luminosity and shit. I don't think Miskiff does, but
Mm-hmm.
you get what I mean.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
what the hell are you gonna do as Golden Guardians?
I think a big thing that sucks for Golden Guardians, and that is kind of sometimes underappreciated for 100 Thieves, is that they did get a little lucky that Nadeshot had a huge following. That helps you start a new org and
Oh yeah,
kind of blast it really easily. But at the same time, they're not even getting a fraction of the fan base,
not
which
even.
is
Oh god,
terrible. And the result is even worse,
yeah.
like in the league. So at the end of the day, you can't lose and put numbers up. Like you'd have to have years of loyal fan base to do that. And they don't have that. So they're just screwed. Like the fact that TSM could even pull off uh that FTX deal without having it on their league team, I think proves that TSM and 100 Thieves are both kind of focusing on that
Yeah.
other stuff area, and they're kind of letting league do its thing, but they're not making it the only thing, which is very smart by them. And unfortunately for Golden Guardians, kind of their only thing is league. It's all that they're
And
really got.
ironically, they have a Smash scene. Which, real quick, shout out to Steve Squish for the host
Oh,
or the raid. Thank you so
cool.
so much, man. Really appreciate it. Uh, yeah, like they're decently involved with the Super Smash scene, which
Hmm.
I don't mind. Like the Smash scene is obviously like a very small niche, but very very passionate audience that you can build somewhat of a brand following behind. But it's always going to be that like cult like following. Like you'll get a
Yeah.
couple of people to follow you for that, but it's not. You will never in a million years catch up to what 100 Thieves is doing going that route, or TSM. Like those two brands solely. Like it's different because they're kind of going for the same thing, whereas like Cloud9 is going for like the general apparel, like the everyday, like they're very involved with like on the ground operations. Like they're grassroots disguised as a corporate entity. Uh,
Yeah.
they're going about it different. Team Liquid, I'm not sure. Like they're kind of in limbo. Like they do a very good job at getting their corporate partnerships. So I can't really say much about them. But 100 Thieves and
Yep.
TSM have like the clout based approach that no other org is matching right now at all.
Mhm.
I don't know what you
Yeah.
do other than maybe
I
sell.
mean,
Like at this point, I said this before, and I think
mhm.
I'll stand by this. I'd be fine with Golden Guardian selling to FaZe.
Yeah. Actually, yeah. That'd be really cool. It'd bring in a different group. I don't know how FaZe fans would handle the trash talk.
Are
But I'm
the
kidding.
these
I'm
12-year-old
kidding.
old kids would be more ruthless
I
than the
just
league
like
scene knows what
flaming
to
them.
do with.
I like flaming them because I remember that whole trash talk debacle from the Call of Duty people that made me laugh.
Oh
But
god. Have you seen what's happened with the Call of Duty scene this past week?
no,
Oh,
no,
it's been so good with the trash talk. Like the
it
old
has.
dynasty, two of the old dynasty players have been going at each other for
Dang.
quite a bit now. Like Crim6 and Formal were just going at each other because like when they won champs one year, Formal was supposed to split the MVP prize money between all four
Oh,
players. He didn't. So then that led to a bunch of drama, and they legitimately went at each other's necks in a way that I haven't seen like two esports players go at each other before, and it was
oh,
great. And now they play each other this weekend. I think on Friday on land for the first time in like a year and a half, and it just built up the storylines massively. So bring in the phase kids that know nothing but derogatory statements. I don't care. I'll deal with that. I'll deal with the hate. I'll deal with the bigotry. We'll still smash them into the ground, but you know what? It will drive up viewership.
yeah. It's not gonna change much. I mean, have you seen the League subreddit?
I'm
Or
trying to get myself to stop visiting the league subreddit.
yeah,
I really
I
am.
mean, they're gonna come to this and be like, "Oh, it's home." I guess. Imagine if these kids started playing League, and
Oh
they go
god.
from like trash talking people with mics. Like I know, don't they like they do like inting kinda in Call of Duty, right?
Uh eh, not really actually. I mean,
Then I would be amped to see them get inted one time. That'd be hilarious.
these
Watch them have
kids
30 minutes wasted.
imagine the Fortnite kids coming in and just spamming Yasuo in queue.
Yeah.
They'd be cracked out of their minds. Like they
Yeah.
like I know a lot of people want to make fun of Fortnite, and I know we're getting on kind of a tangent with this, but I really don't
They
care.
got quick
The
hands.
there
Yeah.
are there are so many skills that are transferable between games that can benefit everything. Like we want to mock Fortnite as much as people want because it's a very young audience playing, and by all means, I've seen the Fortnite events at the Microsoft store here in New York City, and God, it just feels like a kid's summer camp, and it's so weird and so cringe. But then if you tune all that out and you just watch the gameplay,
Mhm.
these kids are cracked at such a young level that it's insane. Now
Yeah.
imagine them bringing that mechanic or that level of mechanical skill over to League of Legends.
Mhm.
Like even though we have a small player base, like you're talking like LPL levels of mechanics in terms of
Yeah.
transferable skills coming over. There's no reason why that couldn't happen. My mother-in-law is calling me, which is a little bit worrying. I'm gonna let you go on a quick 2 minute thing. You'll see when I'm back. Sorry.
Okay. Yeah. Well, to take us back into it then, I'm going to go dive into the LEC, which is our last area, and we're going to talk about who stood out. Cuz for me, it was not the jungle changes. I'll say that. Fnatic, whatever. Fnatic did their best and honestly didn't look too bad. I don't really know what you take from that. I mean, they went 1 and 2, so they're bad. And Whippo didn't impress me. SK Treats literally tweeting, "I don't intend to do this role forever." Pretty sick. So that's funny.
Hey, Trees has been
Uh,
playing well.
yeah, he's been playing well, but it made me laugh when they went 0-3 and he had tweeted, "I don't plan to do this forever." So that's kind of hilarious. Uh, I jumped over to LEC while you're gone
Ooh. Okay.
because
My
it's
here's my question for you with the LEC.
what
This is more of an overarching and like really general statement.
okay.
Do you think the LEC is now worse than the LCS in terms of the top teams? Like if we're talking G2, Rogue, Mad Lions, the three representatives for Europe, versus Cloud9, 100 Thieves, and whoever you want
Mm,
to slot in the third seed. Do you think the level of play in Europe right now is better than North America?
hmm. A little bit better, maybe not by much. Uh, enough that I think at Worlds we'll see more LEC teams get out than NA teams, but not enough that I don't think NA could catch up, and not in a copium way. I actually think LEC is a little weak right now, a little weak, but
Agreed.
I still think Mad Lions is clearly better than any NA team. Um,
I
ooh.
I
Misfits is an interesting one though. I will say that I enjoyed watching their games.
their mid laner is what Vizio.
Yeah, Vithio, really cool.
It,
VTO could be VTO. My bad.
he looked in the two games that I saw the highlights of. He looked
He's young.
surprisingly good.
Yeah,
Is
he's
is
young
he an
too.
L or is he a French league player? Where's he from? Because I know Misfits is a
Uh,
French team.
I believe he was French. Yeah, he's France. He's from France.
Okay, so
He's trying to look up his age. Yeah, he's 18. That's what I thought.
oh wow, because I he put their first
Yeah.
game was against G2, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, and he put Perks in a body bag, or not Perks,
Caps.
Caps. He put
Yeah.
Caps in an absolute body
Yeah.
bag. It was like, what the hell? Like,
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't sure if Caps was just playing bad or like this is like a one-off game because like with teams like this, you never know like whether it's just like a one-off thing because in the LEC that happens a lot more than the LCS where like the bottom teams will get an occasional win over the top teams
Mm-hmm.
because they're all relatively good. The skill disparity is not as high as the LCS,
Mm-hmm.
but dear God, did he just absolutely smash?
Yep. And I will say though, they're one of the few teams that didn't make changes to their roster.
Hmm.
So them going 3-0 could be um it could be tough to actually take as real. I mean, it's the same as TSM going 3-0 week 1.
Yeah,
I'm not 100% convinced. Kabe does look actually nice though. I'll give him that. Kabe and Vandra look pretty good. Here is not a bad top laner, and Razork seems like a decent jungler, or he seems honestly pretty good. So I liked watching them. I thought they were good, but I'm not I'm not 100% sure what to do with them yet because I think
Razork
there's a
is
lot to
interesting.
take in. Yeah,
When
I mean, if they could make a run, that'd be awesome. Could you imagine an EU Worlds with Misfits, Mad Lions, Rogue as the top three? That'd
I
be so
I it
cool.
would be so cool, but I also don't see it happening.
Yeah,
Uh,
G2 gets in there.
I think
Well,
G2
they
still
send
gets
four,
in.
right? Or do they
No,
send three?
three. It's four for the LPL and LCK, so it's only three for
Yeah.
Europe and North America.
If G2 could not find a way, G2 has been looking kind of troll.
Where do you think that stems from, in your opinion?
They're getting old. I mean,
I,
you can only be so good for so long.
it's weird to say that, but it's hard because like you look at a player like Reckless. He's the
Yeah.
oldest. I think he's the oldest player on the team now, isn't he?
Yeah.
I think, or he's close to it.
Could be.
Nevertheless, he's been in
Nah,
league
Yankos has to be, right?
Oh no, you're right. I forgot because yeah, this is likely Yankos's final year. He's
Mm-hmm.
probably gonna. I'd imagine he might retire after this year because
Yeah.
G2 is 100% gonna look to replace him. I love the
Mm-hmm.
guy. He's one of the better personalities that we've ever had in League of Legends. He's also Polish. Shout out to my Polish brethren out there. Uh, I love him, but he is not up to par with the other junglers at the top of the table in the LEC right now.
No.
He's just not. And can I don't know. I just feel bad. Like Reckless, Reckless is just never gonna drop off in skill level, for some reason, like ever. Like like maybe they have to bring back mages in the bot lane to get him to retire properly, but like that's the only thing that I could see getting him to like drop off in skill at this
And
point.
I mean, outside of that Misfits game, Caps doesn't look terrible. He's not awful. He's still Caps. He has moments where he pops off, but he's not the Caps that solo carried Fnatic to like World's Finals anymore. That's for sure.
Is that him
So
falling off, or is that everybody else catching up? Because there's a big difference in the two.
yeah, I think there's a bit of both. I think he's you can only get better when you are the standard for so long, and that's kind of tough. And everyone's kind of catching up as well, which kind of hurts him. But I really don't think everyone's that much better than him. I think he's still really good. I think he still has moments where he shines and shows that he is Caps, the Caps of old. Uh, I do think that Perks not being there hurts them a lot
Oh yeah.
because Perks is a very good leader, and they have uh, don't want to have to say it, but none of those players outside of Caps are exactly clutch. And whenever I think back on Caps in his clutchest moments, I don't really remember him as being a leader of men. That's not
No.
how I would write him out as. And I also don't remember him as a guy of who sticks with you through the thick of things. Because Caps left them during the best of things. So,
Ooh.
like, um, I'm not really sure what to think of G2. Like, they're and also not to put down the other great player on their team, but Reckless also has a flake personality. So
I
I don't know what happens
I
there.
I would disagree with the reckless flake personality. I think him leaving G2. Grant, okay, to be very fair,
Well, he
I am
left
I am
Fnatic way back in the day for Alliance and got bodied and went back to Fnatic.
true, and I'm a reckless fan, so I will put that out there first and foremost. So I'm going to be heavily biased towards it. Uh,
Okay.
that definitely, the initial leaving of Fnatic to Alliance and coming back is definitely flaky. But I don't think you can say that he didn't stick it out, even beyond when he probably should have. Uh,
That's fair.
to that point afterwards. Like
Hmm.
him leaving Fnatic when he did to go to G2 is the perfect time for him to leave Fnatic. Like Fnatic's going through some rough changes that the fans are not happy with. That it's going to take time for them to fully just redevelop back in. They're in a redevelopment cycle, and to those baseball fans out there, they know that it sucks. League fans are a little bit more needy and demanding and are not willing to wait that amount of time that it takes.
Hmm.
But I I think him leaving was smart. Do I think him leaving for that roster in particular was smart? Probably not. I mean, yeah, they're great players, but like I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, what roster would he have gone to though?
Any team on the LPL.
Okay, that's fair.
Go
But
to
I
the
mean,
LPL and he would be
if
he
you
would
don't
still
want to
be.
move your whole country and speak to people who you can't actually talk to,
I heard Cloud9 needs a bot lane.
he ain't going to Cloud9.
I heard
I don't want him on
I heard
Cloud9.
TSM needs a bot lane.
Ah, come. You can come here, but you better not go to Cloud9, pal. You better not. Tired of watching them.
Would you
Don't
get rid
like
of
them.
Sword Art for Reckless?
Yeah, I'd get rid of Sword Art for Academy support.
Yikes.
I
Yikes.
don't think he's playing that well. I don't
Oh.
know what to say.
I know he's not
I
playing
mean,
well, but Jesus.
that is though.
Do
That's
you
the
even
inner
know who your
talk.
academy support is?
Okay, you're saying, yeah, PCL guy.
Oh. Okay,
Yeah,
so you do know. Never mind.
I followed the jump. Don't worry. Do I
Damn
watch
it.
our academy team? No, they're dark garbage. They're garbage dogs. But
We
they're
put you in a
trying their
body bag this
hardest.
last week. Let me make that clear.
Yeah,
Kenvi and
yeah.
Kenvi Tenacity and and Ryoma
Yeah.
absolutely bodied you.
Sword hasn't really impressed me, to be honest.
No,
Um,
I thought he would do more than he has, but he really
I
hasn't.
thought so too.
I just,
Their jungle, like for some reason, their academy junglers all suck. Like, I don't know why, but like out Spica is like an animal. Like Spica is obviously really good. I mean, literally LS was like just spam talking about how mechanically good Spica is, and it was making me so excited. But like everyone else on that, just bad. But I guess to try to get back to EU, yeah, I don't know, man. Like they're EU's I mean, it was week one, so obviously week one means nothing.
yeah,
And then on top of that, like who knows what to take about what Misfits did? I mean, because Australis also went 2-1, and I don't think Australis will be there by
no,
the end of the year.
I have zero faith
So,
for
yeah,
Astralis to be up there.
I don't think anyone thinks Australis is staying tied for second. So, yeah, I mean, if we're being honest though, Shulk, let me think here. Vitality, SK, Schalke, Excel, Astralis, and Fnatic are all basically worthless, right? Like they're basically worthless. It's the same as NA, I feel like. Cuz like you have Misfits who's interesting, don't know if they'll stay that good, and then you have clearly Rogue and Mad who are the two best, and then G2 who G2 and Misfits fighting for that third and fourth. And that's the same as an A. You have two really good teams, and then two we don't really know what they are teams under them, and we're waiting to see what they'll do. And maybe one of those three or four teams does upset one of the top two, maybe because this new bracket with a losers bracket, momentum can get wild. To be honest,
Yep.
it can happen. But at
I I would love
the
to
end of
see
the
a
day,
world where Mad, Rogue, Cloud9, and Hundreds of Thieves all go to China, like literally the day after finals ends. Go to
yeah,
China immediately and just start working together. Like
it'd be sick.
the entire West needs to get around these four teams because I think they
Yeah,
are our best chance to upset what is going to be the hardest year by far and away for Western teams to get out of groups. Like Damwon and all four teams from the LPL are solid, which means that you
hmm,
only have three spots left. And if you're
yep,
Europe, you want to 100% guarantee that that is not going to be any more LPL or LCK teams. If you want to stand a chance of getting that fourth spot back, you need to knock them off their pedestal. And knocking two teams out in groups is exactly how you do it. So bump up Cloud9, bump up 100 Thieves, bump up the other teams you have from Europe, and just
yeah,
hope for the best. And then maybe pull off some upsets from there. But from what I'm seeing, and maybe this was the LCS being 1 week ahead of everybody and getting to see them like try some of the drafts and comps a little bit better. I'm putting Cloud9 and 100 Thieves in their current state on par, if not slightly better, than Mad Lions and Rogue at the moment.
oh, okay, okay, I love that. Yeah, I thought you were gonna I was hoping. I thought for a second you were gonna
No,
pair
I'm
them with
not
some Asian
dumb.
teams.
I'm
I was
not
like, okay.
dumb. I would never
But
go
yeah,
that
I mean,
far.
I guess EU teams, yeah.
Yeah,
I
like
mean,
the
but I just have a problem, or I don't. I think they can be better for sure. I just struggle to convince myself of it because I've seen it. I just don't trust them. I don't trust NA teams enough to say it yet, and I need more time, I guess, to see the consistency of NA come out. I mean, if Cloud9 and 100 Thieves can consistently run this, like the whole split, I'll believe in them. But there's a lot of weeks left to be played,
yeah.
and that is a lot of time for both one of the two to collapse
Quite
or
frankly,
both.
though, like if I'm Papa Smithy or if I'm Jack or whoever the GM of Cloud9 is,
Hmm.
I'm almost exclusively scrimming each other this week, not next week because you have a match together. So,
Yeah.
avoid that. But if I'm the two of them, I'm looking at each other saying, look, every other team around us is either crumbling or in bad shape. Let's bulk each
Yeah.
other up as much as possible. Who cares about the regular season all that much? We'll likely play each other in postseason, and we can guarantee that both of us make it to Worlds. But let's do everything in our power to get
Yeah.
us in as good of a spot as possible to hit the boot camp in China with hit it running. Like
I
just
can
hit it
see though
hard.
that turning out the opposite way though. If you just play the same two team or you just play the same team all the time,
Yeah,
you
to be clear,
yeah, you can
I'm
get
not
caught in
saying
the echo
every
chamber.
time, but I'm saying
Yeah, yeah,
at
yeah.
least
Just
twice a
scrim a lot
week.
more.
Yeah, at
That makes
least
sense,
twice a
yeah.
week you should be playing each other just to
I could see that.
consistently push it further. And it's like competitive wise, is that arguably worse? You don't want to see the two of them like share everything. But at the same time, if our ultimate goal here is North America playing well at Worlds,
Mhm.
we have to do everything in our power. And these are so far, given 2 weeks, and obviously that's a very short amount of time, these are the two teams that you
Yeah.
invest as much time as you can in. If anybody proves themselves over the course of the next 3 to 4 weeks to the point where you see it valuable to slot them in the same category, sure. But they only have a certain amount of time to do it. You cannot wait until playoffs
Yeah.
for a team to finally show up because by that point they've already shown that they can't adapt quick enough in the best of ones.
If TSM beats Cloud9 this weekend, I'm gonna cry laughing
I don't
at this
I just don't
at
see it
all of
happening.
this.
Like I
It'd
don't
be hilarious.
it won't be until we finally get that mid lane patch that I think TSM really comes online.
If that mid lane patch is all it takes for Speak and Power of Evil to be able to just carry those three dead weights across the finish line, that'd be kind of funny.
I think it is though because PoE needs to be on control mages.
Yeah.
He has to like
Well,
he
TSM is primed to get to finals and lose. That is what this roster is built to do. And
yeah.
you know it. We all know it.
Yeah, pull
They
off
are
the miracle
built,
upset in losers
yep,
finals and then just get
and
smashed
losers
3-0.
finals and then get smashed 3-0 in finals or it goes 5 games cuz that's what Power of Eagle loves to do. He
Yeah.
loves to take it 5 games, get that little 2-1 lead, really build up the hype that Power of Evil's finally broken it and then get absolutely annihilated the last.
Get ass blasted
Yeah.
horribly.
And then everyone will say it's just his patch. It's his patch. What can we do? His patch has come, and then Speaker will ball out because Speaker's always been decent, and they'll be like, "Nah, he's getting carried by that Power of Evil jungler buff. It's
Yeah.
happening again."
I mean,
And then it'll
realistically,
re-
you want the three teams with the best mid jungle duos to go to
true.
Worlds. Like that,
That is true.
historically, that has proven itself to be the best method. And if we're sitting
Not
here,
TL.
no, at the current moment,
Yeah,
it's not TL. Like, I'm
not
sorry, I
TL.
don't. Alfari, or not Alfari, uh,
Yeah, Santorin and
San,
Jensen, not it.
no. Like the three best mid jungle duos are without question TSM, 100 Thieves, Cloud9. And
Yeah,
it's not a close it's not even close behind them. TSM's
no.
other parts are significantly
So
worse.
bad. So
Significantly
bad.
worse. But that I mean if you want to see success at Worlds, I think those are the three teams you hope to send.
Yeah. Yeah. I
I don't
mean,
know.
yeah, maybe those three. I definitely the top two. Like, I think we're both in
Yeah.
agreement. We want to see 100 Thieves and Cloud9 go. And obviously, as a TSM fan, I'd like to see them go, but I have no expectations for them. This is a Power of Evil roster if I've ever seen it.
Yeah.
Like, this is
Yeah.
the most Power of Evil roster ever. Like, he is getting absolutely hosed. There's obvious glaring weaknesses, and he is doing everything in his power
To
to
try.
make it
It's
better.
CLG 2019 all over again.
Yep. I mean,
Except
luckily, Riot Games, like somewhere up there, Mark Merrill, thank you, said, "You're bailed out, boys. We're bailing you out." And I was like, "Thank you, Mark. We're bailing you out one last time." I don't know what Reggie did. Maybe he took some of that crypto money, slipped it under the balance team table, and went, "Hey, pals, what do you think about a Syndra meta?" And they went, "Huh, pretty good." And they nerfed Lucian, which he's terrible on. I can't watch this man play Lucian. I want to die. It's terrible. And then they said, "Here's Syndra." And I went, "We're saved. We're saved. It's over."
Syndra and then the Corki Azir meta returns, and PoE is all of a
Oh,
sudden a monster
stop.
again.
Yeah, like they're gonna do Corky though with like what build? He's gonna have some Rift Maker weird build and just make me slump in my chair. I'm gonna be like, oh, dude. But yeah,
Yeah,
but I believe in Cloud9 though.
same. It's amazing how much conversation we're already having about Worlds, and it's only week 2 of the LCS. Like,
Yeah, because
are we
Worlds looks.
really that addicted to like Worlds? Like, is that
Yes,
really that high up of an expectation in League of
it's
Legends?
literally like having a World Cup every year.
Ugh, I
So
love it.
fun.
I love it. And next year, uh, with it being in North America, oh,
Yeah,
I
and
cannot fucking wait. I really can't.
this might have been one of the best MSIs I'd ever seen, if I'm being honest.
Oh,
Like the
agree.
two top teams were insane. Like watching Showmaker straight up just try his hardest to carry them, and RNG. I felt like RNG, as good as they were, I just felt like people just kept acting like they weren't gonna win, and they didn't even have their coach there, and they were like hyping Showmaker up as this unstoppable Demon King boss, like raid boss level, and RNG was just sitting there, and every step of the way, they'd be like, "Hey, we have an answer for that." And Crying is still really good. They just don't talk about him because Gollin's really good. So
Gala.
yeah, now we're guaranteed though. Just get hype. We're sending our 3NA teams. Just wait for them to play those terrible other LPL teams
Dude,
like Nuguri and Doinb. That's a terrible duo.
yeah.
And Tian. That's not that good. We got them.
I'm actually excited to see FBI up against LPL bot laners. That's
It'll
gonna
be
be fun.
cool. He's gonna get like I hope he gets way better at team fighting by then. Because if he's not, there's gonna be a lot of Gala just hitting him with a random W and killing him
Yeah.
like out of nowhere. But maybe we'll get lucky and who he like will just play out of his mind.
Hey,
I
who
don't
he's
know.
got a track record of playing well internationally.
At international events, yeah.
So I could see
I
it
just
like in a meta where you in an environment where you need to get creative very quickly, who
Yep.
he is the perfect guy for that. So you put
Agreed.
him on the world stage and have Reaper as a coach, which gives him a little bit more freedom.
Hmm.
You you could see some. I'm trying not to get too far down that rabbit hole yet. We have so many weeks left of the LCS, but I can't stop
Yeah, I
thinking.
mean,
I've already watched the 2019 opening ceremony twice in the last 3 weeks.
and all these teams still have to make worlds.
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot that can happen. Patches can really destroy a team, especially a playoff patch. The wrong playoff patch can really rip the life out of a team.
Yep.
So you never
But
know.
we are at an hour and 20 minutes. We might
Yeah,
want to
we
cut this
ran
off soon.
really long. My bad.
Oh, you're
Well,
bad. I did a lot of talking, which, by the way, I don't know if you can see on stream, but I got fucking sunburned this
yeah,
weekend.
you're sunburnt for sure. But well, thank you all for coming. Thanks for the raid, C Squish. And this was a really good episode of the crossover. I think we went through a lot of good things. Hopefully, we'll find a way to get it shorter when VCS starts because it's just gonna be more to talk about.
Yep.
But thanks for coming. This is 20th Charles 50, and that's Dave, and we'll see you next week.
Adios.